What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Mic's all set, finally in place. What's up, Roshat? How are you today?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Not
Like,
too
wait a
slightly
second.
there on the right level. The mic's on the right level.
I think the mic is level. Let's see. I think the mic is good. Wait. Hold on. Actually, yeah, she mentioned it. There we go.
Your sound is good though. So
All 5,000 people watching right now are getting a little behind the scenes look at what's really going on.
yeah. Well, as long as this thing doesn't fall in the middle of the show, you're good.
There we go. What's up, Afton Child? How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Oh, do I still sound good?
Can you still hear me? Yeah, good.
Outstanding. Blake, what's going on?
What's going on, Afton?
Let's get into it. There's so much stuff. And I made very diligent notes to make sure I had all this stuff down to talk about, just because there's so much to break down. You sent me this, but I also saw it as well. And this is wild for a blockbuster movie, but it's sounding like Blue Beetle is estimated to take the #1 spot at the box office this weekend with a staggering amount. You're not even gonna believe how much it's gonna make.
I mean, is it 150?
Huh?
Is it 150?
Not quite. It's expected to make $28 million to win the box office this weekend. Thoughts?
Pathetic. To be honest, I mean, like, I've gone around here and seen like so many of the families going to see like Barbie, the dad's wearing the pink, I even saw Barbie, so like, let me not act like I don't know what it is. It was funny, so to me, but I don't even think Blue Beetle's going to beat that. I think it's going to be a sad showing, and it will not be the 4 or 5 week old movie at 28 million. I think Barbie's got more staying power.
So Blake's asking a great question: is anything competing against Blue Beetle? Yeah, Barbie. Barbie's just destroying everything. It's the Barbie world.
Barbie and Oppenheimer are still kicking tail. I mean, that's just the thing. It's like Oppenheimer, like I said, like around here, you can still not find a show. Like you can have a better chance of trying to find a Mission Impossible screen than you do of actually having a seat in one of those two movies.
All right, so here is what's also coming out. Strays, the Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx movie where they're voicing dogs. Haunting of the Queen Mary, The Moon, Back on the Strip. Yeah, that's it. It's not a lot of big bangers. And this is weird because this is the last weekend for a lot of families where kids aren't going to school. Like, school starts on Monday for some areas. Oh, it's just not us in the building. But it's somebody you haven't seen in a while, folks. Let's give a big warm welcome to the one and only, not just Rockwell, J. King. What's going on?
What's going on?
How's it going?
Good, man. Your mic's not good, though.
Oh. How about now?
That's better.
Yeah.
It's better? This is good?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Captain Child got to see Blue Beetle. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yay, nay. Should we go see it? I feel like the problem here with Blue Beetle is DC movie where people are like, I don't know. I'm good. Chestacular. Yes. I feel like people are very leery still of DC movies where it's great. You guys have a new movie. That's not going to matter for anything. And this started with Shazam, where it was like, well, if there's enough people that go out and see it, Shazam will be part of this new movie universe.
You know,
and people are like, yeah, we've seen this, huh?
It's funny. Like James Gunn, like posted, like him at the premiere with Peter Safran, and it's like, hey, it's the introduction for Blue Beetle. He's going to be part of the universe for a long time, and everybody's like,
no,
is he though?
Like, yeah, like I mean, it's like if you were telling me, it's like Family Dollars, like this is probably the best weekend for it. I mean, truthfully, it is the I think the marketing has been horrible. I think they really need to figure out how to listen to these songs that they try and score DC movies with and stop it completely. Whatever you do, just stop it. Don't try and be hip. Come up with something family kind of like if you know, just give something family like it's a family movie, whatever.
Speaking of, I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but I finally did see Shazam: Fury of the Gods, taking advantage of my Max membership through my phone.
Like I need you're not even saying like I bought it. It's
I need that disclaimer that I did not care to sign up for Max. It was like you want it? Sure, I'll take it here as part of this deal with my phone, no problem. But I just felt like they didn't really understand Shazam. They didn't understand his family's cool, but it should be about Shazam. And when you put in 5 other characters with the exact same powers, it doesn't make him special. And same thing where it's like, yeah, we don't need Superboy, Supergirl hanging with Superman. They can show up in the last 5 minutes or something, but we don't need them next to Kal-El the whole time because otherwise it's like, why is he special? Why is she special? Why is younger version special? Steel's a character that can work all day because he's not Superman. Gangbuster, somebody else who can hang out and not be Superman. It's okay. That's cool. He can work. But when you start bringing in the same version of the character, and especially like Shazam, where he's not even the older, more powerful one, where they're all on the same level, and they kind of make the main character a bit of a doofus. He's 10 years old.
A bit of a doofus. They made him a doofus. It was
they
like
made him
Wisdom of Solomon just wasn't.
Why do you care? Jeff, you brought it all home. Why do I care? Like, why would I care about Shazam? There's 5 of them. Take your pick.
Yeah, like any one of them could have been the main focus of the movie. And I felt like I kind of wanted to see, because they don't have cool names. They make a whole point not to give them names. So it's like, okay, I want to see Ross Butler's Shazam more. He looks cool. He's got a black costume. And he's a cooler character. He's more interesting. Megan Good's character, she's funny because she acts like she's the only one that really acts like a little kid just transformed into an adult. The rest of them, like for whatever reason, Billy de-ages once he becomes Shazam, where he's like stupider than an 18-year-old would be. And it's just like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And then Freddy is just, I don't know, he's like trying to be super cool, which I get because that's how he is as a kid, but he kind of comes off a little bit creepy. And then Mary Marvel, they're like, listen, y'all are so dumb. Y'all aren't going to realize we're using the same actress to play Mary.
No. They said that was actually intentional because she is actually 18. So it's like she is an adult when they actually switch her out.
Listen. We don't need that kind of wacky logic in a movie where people are transforming to adults when they yell a magic word. I mean, we changed her hair and some makeup.
But again, it was like kind of if you were to really do this movie, it'd be like you could actually go and watch you could actually go and see a Mary Marvel because she's left the rest of the family. She's actually gone to college. She's got she's seeing back from Billy and what's going on in Fawcett City. Or Philadelphia, now what we're calling it, that would have been a more interesting movie.
That sounds like a spinoff to me.
Hey, if you guys will go see it, we'll think about it. But it's like the truth was like because all of them have the exact same power. Why since you saw the movie, it's like, are you inviting all of them into the JSA? Because you don't. Billy.
No, we're not jumping there. We're not jumping there.
No, because Billy is again. If you would actually like have a interview process, Billy's the last one you do because he's still Captain Shoot 'em Lightning thing. You'd be like, hey, Mary, you have all the power and you're not an idiot. Would you like to come actually be with a bunch of heroes?
Jake King, what you got, man?
Is Blue Beetle out yet?
Friday.
It comes out this Friday.
Okay, because I thought that was Cobra Kai with a budget. So I was like, okay, yeah, the new season of Cobra Kai was pretty good. They got special effects. I have no interest in seeing that. So that means to me, DC is going to be 0 for 3 this year and probably like 1 for 27, right? So they're well below
Well,
them
they
in
have
those
another
guys.
movie coming.
I mean, you still can see Aquaman. We still need to reshoot because this thing still sucks.
Yeah, no, good. They look. If they were in the majors, they'd have gone down to single A. They can't. They can't get a hit. They just can't get a hit. Sorry, son.
Their training camp cut, Javon. Let's stay current with the season.
I mean, the interesting thing
Maybe
is like
someday, you can come back and we'll see what the space is.
Do you guys think like maybe by I'm just and this is a speculation on Aquaman. Do you think because of the Amber Heard law and Johnny Depp lawsuit that they by Warner Brothers trying to sideline Amber Heard messed up the chemistry of the movie?
She didn't have that much chemistry with Jason Momoa anyway.
Ezra Miller was in Hawaii going nuts, and they still put that movie out. All bets are off. You can kill somebody in that universe, and hey, they'll put it out.
Not wrong. Yeah, they are. I mean, it's very much like they are running a slow death. It would almost have been better if they could have kicked all of their stuff. Like, hey, this is this is our new pandemic, this writer's strike. Let's kick all of these movies out during the writer's strike. And then once it's back, everybody's back, we start fresh. Everybody's cool and go from there.
Okay, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, Blue Beetle is at 82%. That's pretty good for a DC movie. Means a lot of critics are liking it. They're not saying it's great, but they're saying it's the fresh start that DC movies needed. And so if this is going to legit be the start of this new DCU, it's a good, promising start. Okay. I'm skeptical because they've been saying that since Shazam 2. They said, hey, we'll see what happens with Flash. I don't like this thing of if it makes X amount of money that we have no idea what that magic number is. I feel like they're Netflix trying to report their numbers. If it reaches such and such, then it'll be part of this new universe. And I don't know if I care about the new universe yet. They haven't, it's so far off that it's like, well, who knows? I don't know what the quality of that's going to be. Okay. Maybe it'll be worse.
They can't catch a break, honestly. They just can't catch a break.
But okay, Jamon, is it they can't catch a break, or is this like they keep they're basically like you got a case of the yips. Like you're in base, like you said, in baseball, you got a case of the yip. You can't hit a fastball for some reason, and they keep fumbling because I hate to mix metaphor there, but it seems like, hey, we're just going to tell you this. If it is good, we'll kick it to this new universe. But it's like, why not just accept that we are rolling like you guys? Everything's getting recast, and we're just good.
Stickman said, "Bump you, Jace. WBWCC doesn't deserve a break."
And Stick, I'm with you because Jace, here's the thing about that. If they were to have a solid plan, I think bringing in James Gunn was like, who can save us now? Let's bring in James Gunn. He had a successful run. So I'm like, look, if you had a solid plan.
Hey, Jace, I think Javon's 5Y is
iteration of the DC. Okay. What's going on?
Say that again. 5Y is shaky.
Oh, my 5Y is not cooperating. How about now?
There you go.
Okay. So if they were to have said, all right, we have a solid plan. We're going to introduce our main core characters that you, comic book fans care about, who are familiar with the DC universe. These are our top guys. And for casual folks, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. We're going to give you those properties first because these are our biggest sellers. These are our #1 hits. You establish those films, and then you basically rip off Marvel. They gave you the blueprint. Establish your crew, and then you do a Justice League movie. Establish your baddies. You have people to root against for Justice League. Then you can worry about doing Blue Beetle and Shazam and whoever the hell you got in the pipeline. But you got to get the core first.
Okay, but that's the problem is DC just introduced the core and screwed it. It literally just screwed it up. So you can't even. It's like Blue Beetle is somebody like you can have. I mean, again, I still say for as much fun as it would be to have a really good Justice League, give the people the Justice League International first. Like, I mean, you can always say Superman's doing stuff. I mean, especially after Superman, Legacy seems like it's going to have a lot of other characters. But like, if you wanted to just do, Justice League International on TV and just make that work, that would make somebody like, okay, I see where you, instead of doing like a Peacemaker rated R version of this, you make a funny actual team that actually still does the heroic stuff. They don't look like complete goofballs, but there are goofy elements in there. You do have Blue Beetle, you have Guy Gardner, you do have what's his name?
Martian Man, Captain Atom, Fire and Ice. So here's the thing: JLI is perfect for a TV show. I mean, they could do the whole single camera thing. It would be awesome. They can't lead off with it, but I would watch every episode twice of JLI if it was done as great as it was done back in the day. This photo back here is a collage of all the characters of JLI, so I'm a massive fan. What I think they should have done with this new direction, something we haven't really seen from the MCU. But they can't, like you said, they can't just go back, hey, here's our core. What they could do, take a nod from what DC's done in the past with their comic books. And instead of doing solo movies, do team up movies to introduce our characters again. Instead of having Batman versus Superman, have World's Finest. Have Batman and Superman in a movie together. We don't need to waste time with the origin. Here's Batman, here's the Superman. They're going on a case. They're fighting General Zod and the Riddler. I mean, it's something basic like that.
Don't go with the Riddler, please. Okay.
Huh?
Don't go with the Riddler here. I'm a little scarred. I'm sorry, Scarecrow. I thought it was Scarecrow. I'm sorry, my bad.
So, well, no, you meant Riddler. You're right on that. But yeah, do both of them in a movie. Then you could do Flash and Green Lantern. They're best friends in the comic book. Their characters will work just as well together. Establish that buddy dynamic. That's something that has worked well when Marvel's done it. See Captain America: The Winter Soldier, half the movie split with Black Widow, the other half split with Falcon. That was a formula that Marvel didn't keep up with. They were like, oh, here's Nick Fury and Captain Marvel. But they didn't really do that going forward with other films.
But did that work because they had the origin stories of and they introduced these characters? Is that a byproduct?
We don't need an origin for Batman. Everyone knows Batman's origin. Everybody knows Superman's origin.
We don't need the origin, but what you want to do is give them their own standalone picture and then introduce the group. That's what I would think you would want to do as opposed to teaming them up right away. Because the thing about it is this: you're talking, you got to reach everybody from diehard to casual. The casual they don't know the comic book, but they know Batman. I know Batman, and I know the Riddler, I know the Joker, I know these people. So give me that because that's more digestible. Do you think that's the approach that they
the problem is
are trying to have?
They've done those solo things so often. It's like, yawn. I don't care about this. That's why MCU was so smart with the way they handle Spider-Man. They introduced him in a mass movie with so many other characters. They introduced him in Black Panther in the same movie. We didn't need an origin for Black Panther who'd never seen the big screen before. They were like, we trust the way we do this enough that we can introduce a character completely out the blue and make him work and put him as a star, not like a background character. Oh yeah, there's that 2-minute scene with Black Panther. He was a real integral part to the whole film.
Now again, is that byproduct of the fact that, hey, we became such a hot commodity that we can put anything out there and you'll consume it?
What I'm saying is DC has put out 8 Batman movies. We don't need a solo Batman movie because it's not going to be Christopher Nolan quality. We don't need Superman solo film because they're up and down. And we don't need a solo Wonder Woman movie because she's 50-50.
Yeah.
Green Lantern didn't work on its own. Flash's movie I thought was good, but a lot of people didn't like it. So you pair them up, you get people who would be interested in seeing a different dynamic as opposed to a solo character, because so many of the core characters in DC have had solo movies. We don't know the verdict on Aquaman's second film. His first one was good, but they've already exhausted single movie of so many characters, especially in restarting the universe. Now they got a Robert Pattinson Batman to compete with in a Batman origin film. That's why they're doing Batman and Robin with this new direction. I think they could have gotten away with doing their big core characters paired up. That way they could get faster to a Justice League movie. They could have done Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. So you do those 3 films, and then you put those characters into a Justice League movie because we already know how the dynamics of these pairs work. But then you split them up. It's like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is fun. Then you can have them fight the Legion of Doom or whatever. That's your first big team up movie. And then you can go do Teen Titans. You can do Justice Society as a flashback movie. Then you can do Blue Beetle, etc. And I think that's the way it works. Let's see what the guys are saying here. Stickman says, I feel like DC has bungled their characters too many times. If it's not Batman, they don't matter anymore. They've absolutely done
that. Yeah. I mean, even though I know Batman is that Robert Pattinson movie made money, to me, that's another example of them screwing up because that's more time for their movie theater. They're actually like, that was supposed to be the Ben Affleck movie, and he screwed it up and gave it to.
I don't think that was what that was supposed to be.
Well, I mean, but you had it like in the studio. They probably had it penned like on their storyboard of like movies that are coming out. We have a Batman movie coming out. Their idea was we're going to use Ben Affleck, and by wasting time with Robert Pattinson is just distracting movies. So it's like we're probably going to get to a trilogy, which we don't need. It's not going to be anywhere near Christopher Nolan's Batman. We're just wasting time using his property when we could be spending money on a Batman and Robin. Like
they're working on?
Yeah, like get to a Bat family movie. Like it's like, or actually, it's like what was the? I want to say like Detective Comic, Rebirth Detective Comic, where it was run by Red. What was it?
It's Batman, Batwoman.
That team, get to a movie like that where they actually are doing stuff, and Batman isn't dead for some reason, which they think they have to do in every daggone TV show. But get to a movie like that. Like, I think that, it's like you could, like, your pair idea is good, but it's like your big blow up is going to be not Doomsday, which they think they need to do.
Definitely not Doomsday.
But like getting to a movie where our big thing is against big level bad guys. How do we get there? Go.
Now, asking this question, because I'm always looking at it through the lens of the studio, right? They got to do what the people are going to see, right? They got to draw in everyone, like I said, from diehard to casual. Do you think that's what's driving the bad decisions mostly throughout the course of the DC universe?
Okay, let me say this. If I could get, like, say, Timothy Chalamet is my Red Robin, I could probably get a couple extra people in there because I got a good character. I get a good actor as the lead, and it's not basically some. If I got to build up a whole unknown group, I may have a little more trouble. If I got like a top A-level actor surrounded with a bunch of A to A, B actors, I probably can get some people in there. Like, and make sure you do all the due diligence you need to now, because you're going to be riding with these people for 20 years, probably. So do all the due diligence, interview the friends, their mama, everybody you need to. But get some good quality people in there and go for a movie. I think that's what you're going to need to do.
All right, hold on. Jamie, I'm going to get to your powerless in a second. Jamie Parks in the building says Christopher Nolan's Batman was far from an accurate adaptation. With you 1,000,000%. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to have seen a Long Halloween movie. I would have loved to watch a whole 2-part of No Man's Land. I would have loved to have watched a movie or even a serial of Nightfall. So many things. I feel like he clipped the best parts of so many great Batman stories, merged them into movies, and worked for what he was doing. I would absolutely love to see more comic book versions of the stories that he hacked and pasted together to make really good movies, but they would work on their own even better. Now, James said
that's an important part of it.
Yeah, I think Hollywood is messing up the comic book movies. I hope they can bounce back. I think the problem is they have stopped caring about the comic book in the comic book movies. Let's take advantage of this fan base is going to see anything we put out. regardless of the quality. And I think Disney Plus really hurt the Marvel brand because they weren't at the same level as the MCU product, which felt so tightly weaved together into what they were doing. Every movie fed into the other, and then when they got to Disney Plus, yeah, okay, whatever.
I'm trying to think, like, if you like, and I was actually, I almost wanted to ask Jamie, like, if you had the pin, like, would you just say, hey, go comic for comic, like, we're gonna stick with we're staying with Long Halloween, we're doing this movie, or we're doing Nightfall. Like, would you stay like that, or would you kind of do almost a Christopher Nolan approach? Like, because at some point, because Christopher Nolan did that, you got to figure out what Batman property you could do a good movie on. Like, the animated ones did great jobs of adapting one story and going with it. Like, I'm just curious on what everybody else thinks on that.
I think there's still plenty of stuff. And a Long Halloween movie would work great. That's what I thought Matt Reeves was going with the Batman movie. It's like, oh, that would be really cool. But then it was more like, I'll just follow what Nolan already did. And then it was just like, all right, dude, thanks. And his Batman wasn't a detective either, which I think is still something we haven't really seen. I think these comic book stories would show more Batman as a detective. They still have Hush in their back pocket, which they could do, but they need to kill off Jason Todd first to really make that work. I just feel like there's so many great Batman stories. There's Contagion, which I think would be a really timely Batman story, considering we just got out of a pandemic. That would work where, oh, shoot, my allies are getting this killer virus. I need to go race against the clock. I need to send I need to send Nightwing.
So why is no one doing this?
Huh?
So why
they haven't called me up?
Well, I mean, and another thing is you got folks like, what was it? Like Kevin Feige. Okay, like I want to finish. Like, you got folks like Kevin Feige. I don't want people who know about the comic books trying to run the comic book movies. And it's like,
that's a new thing.
Now let me look at this. Yeah, like Long Halloween animated one was really good. I think I read that book years ago, but actually seeing an animated one and making it a 2-part movie was like, oh, this got a long time to breathe. And actually, when I actually got what's concluded, it's like, that was a very satisfying movie. Like, I really like that. Like, I know there's plenty of Batman stories you could probably use. Like you couldn't use Nightfall because we basically saw that in Nolan. Like, you have to get.
You could. Nightfall is such a wider story than the Cliff Notes version we got in Dark Knight Rises. It's basically Batman gets his back broken by Bane. There's so much more to Nightfall. It's sick, broken down, weary, fatigued Batman fighting his rogue gallery while this menacing presence watches on. And that's basically your first half of the movie. The second half is Batman's hand-chosen successor, John Paul Valley, being a nutjob psycho, taking violence to another level to do what Bruce Wayne couldn't do. And you could end the movie with Azrael Batman standing atop Tim Drake Robin, like, oh shoot, like kind of an Attack of the Clones vibe where it's like, oh no, this is really not good, but this is what we got going right now. And then they could do Night's End where Bruce Wayne comes back and then challenges Azrael. And that's like a 2-part movie right there. I mean, that's a really easy setup.
How many years down the road would you do that? Because I have issue. I mean, we have issue with where you put Justice League, Dawn of Justice. Would you have it in year 2 or year 5?
Which one? Dawn of Justice?
Like Nightfall, like your version.
Oh. I mean, that would probably be my third Batman film where it's like, oh shoot, it's not ending the way I thought it would. Because I mean, I want to have like 2 Justice League movies, and let's just say down the road, I want them to fight Darkseid and his crew. I want to stretch that out a little bit longer. I'm going to have them fight the Legion of Doom. Maybe I'm going to have them fight Brainiac. Shoot, you know what? Maybe I'll do. I have the Justice League be the forefront of a fight against the Anti-Monitor. So I'm gonna make that my 5th Justice League movie, a Crisis adaptation, so they can fight Darkseid and his crew, and I'll make it a 2-part movie too. But there's so much stuff with DC that is just ripe for mining for great movies. They're not taking advantage of it. You can look at those phase 1 through 3 MCUs and their stories they adapted. Civil War, which I will always say is better than the comic book version. Age of Ultron, again, better than that. So Winter Soldier, I wouldn't say that was better. That was a strong, this is good too. Infinity Gauntlet, really good. So they did their homework. They did stories from the comic books. Whereas with the DC stuff, it's kind of like the best case version we've ever gotten of those comic book adaptations is the cut and paste versions from Nolan. No other DC films are like going, hey, what was the comic book? Let's just make this into a movie. They're like, nah, forget the source material. We know this stuff better than the people who made a living doing these stories for decades. What we're going to do is an original story that the people who read and followed these comic book stuff for so long will be like, wow, what a cool original story. That's not true. What we as longtime comic book fans want to see, some of our favorite stories brought to the big screen. I give the X-Men movies so much well-deserved grief. They really tried and failed miserably, as Galabulus would say, to get Dark Phoenix right. But they've done it twice. But, and that just shows that's a really big, important X-Men story. They just keep fumbling and dropping the ball. I was doing an X-Men movie, I'd do a Mutant Massacre one at some point, just because it's like, whoa, these killers are running loose on the streets. It is up to the X-Men to stop them. There's a time. And Jamlin was like, dude, Cataclysm, Contagion, No Man's Land trilogy or saga would be amazing. But they'll never do that. And that's part of the problem. If they were to add up or do these adaptations of comic book stuff, they'd never have to worry about, hey, what's Batman 4 going to be about? All they need to do this, kick back. Oh, we know this is the part where we work in Contagion. The stories are right there. They don't even have, it's like they keep going. They have a wheel and they go, how do we make this into a triangle that fits into a cylinder? It's like, stop. You've got great stuff right there. And they just continue to go, nah, we know better than these creators who made these epic stories that people are still going, oh man, it wasn't as good as Legends. It wasn't as good as Crisis. It wasn't as good as Final Crisis. So much stuff. And they've touched like a portion, a real fraction of it.
Why?
Because they know better than the industry that has carried this stuff for so long.
I mean, like, Coach Vaughn,
I do feel like studio executives say they're always looking at how could we bring in the most people instead of following the storyline too closely. Let's add this. Let's add a love interest that has no place in this movie. Let's add this. Let's add a comedic sidekick. Let's stop screwing with it. Stop. That's how you end up making really bad movies.
But okay,
like you start adding Jar Jar Binks and whatever else. You're ruining things.
Okay, like, but say, like, I'll go, like, adding a love interest very much helped me enjoy Lord of the Rings. Because if you don't have Arwen, I'm like, why isn't he actually calling it Eowyn? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, I'm a man of the world. Like, for what? Like, come on. Like,
right. But when it helps, it helps.
Yeah.
But when it takes away from the story.
Yeah, it's like,
it helped with the Lord of the Rings because they had 3.5 hours to tell a story in each movie. We got to spread a little bit of that time somewhere. Frodo ain't hollering at anybody, so we need our real hero, who's Sam, who's left his woman back home. But next to Sam, we got to have somebody for our boy, Strider.
But it's like DC. I think another aspect is DC does not accept it. It's like, hey, we had to buy these comic books to actually keep them afloat. So we don't care about their stories because without us, they don't have a chance. And I think maybe that dismissive attitude is not letting them like look at like, hey, we have Jeff Johns in the room. Like literally, like he could probably pull 10 stories for each one of these characters that could probably make a movie. Or he can, I mean, as much grief as we give Green Lantern, if you just don't try and pack 9 billion things into Green Lantern. Like Green Lantern packs in way too much. You didn't need Amanda Watt. You didn't need you didn't need Parallax. You did not. I mean, you could have had Sinestro, but you didn't need Hank Hinch. What was Hank's the big head?
Hammond.
Hank Hammond. You didn't need all 4 of them and just try and create your universe in one movie, which is a scary aspect that they're trying to do with Superman Legacy. But if you had just said, "Hey, we're sticking with Crash Landed, Sinestro, Green Lantern, go," like I think they would have been 20,000. We would still be probably talking about the original DC universe if they didn't try and throw everything all at once.
All right, so the problem with Green Lantern was it came out too late. I keep saying if that movie came out in 2002, it would be, oh man, DC's enter the chat. They're coming with some hard stuff. But because it came out in 2011, it's like, come on, man. We have these great movies. Why don't you just do what they did in Iron Man? And Ryan Reynolds is funny. And he was just this. They tried to cast him as a Tobey Maguire hero. It's like, I'm not ready for this. Doing that? Huh?
Like, it means I'm not ready for this. It's like you could have Nathan Fillion literally from Firefly, just drop him in and literally just let him like, I got this. I am literally a test fighter pilot. I'm literally just looking like Maverick.
And that's literally Hal Jordan is Maverick with a magic ring that lets him do anything. How do you botch that premise? It's like if I'm anybody promoting or trying to get a Green Lantern movie made, I'm having them watch Maverick, and then I'm going, hey, now imagine him with a ring that lets him conjure up anything. How much money do you want to give me for this movie? Because it's going to make $1 gazillion. And Blake was asking, what about that awkward love story in The Hobbit? They messed up that trilogy. They messed up that trilogy so bad. I only own the last one because Desolation is a small, like, this is a snoozer. What's happening? They had like 40 hobbits. I only cared about 2 of them. Right. And like, oh man, this one's dying. Oh, not him.
Name one of them hobbits. I mean, seriously, like, I didn't even watch the first one. When they introduced, this is Hobbit, I'm like, I don't care. It's like, I just care about Frodo. Like, all the rest of these dwarves, like, I mean, like, seriously, like, it's like, they tried to be so, I don't know, it was basically in the book, but it's like, they don't have any distinct personalities until the 3rd movie. And it's like, again, that's why I'm like,
did I say hobbits or did I say hobbits?
I think you said hobbits, but it's like
I probably did. Yeah, but the hobbits had way more personality. The dwarves, and I still don't. I mean, you said name one. I'm like, yeah, the leader dude, yeah, him, and one of the two brothers, the one who was like trying to holler at
Kate?
Wasp,
Kate?
Kate or Wasp, whichever one, because I don't remember naming that movie.
No, I mean, and they had probably 3 movies, and it was like, do you want to see an extended edition of that? No, I'm good.
Oh, no, thank you. That just means more songs that make even less sense. I was so excited about that, too. And after I watched the first, I was like, oh, no, this is not going to be good at all.
You got to sucker me at, hey, you want to go see The Desolation of Smough?
Listen, I was like, it has to be better. It was better, but I don't know how you spend 3 hours and have no character development. That was bad stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the plus side for Blue Beetle, really looks like they were like, hey, let's just do the comic book look and translate that to the big screen. So that's a major plus for it. I feel like that's really encouraging. They have his family featured in the trailers, and from some social media reactions, Hispanic, Latino folks are going, that's awesome because they're representing how our culture is. That's cool. I mean, I can't relate, of course, but I'm glad that the demographic who, I don't say it's catered to, because I think it's catered to people like good movies, but the demographic is represented on screen is like, yeah, that's great. That's cool. So I'm excited about that. The villain kind of looks like, okay, he could just as easily pop over and fight Iron Man. I feel like, Blue Beetle's armored up. we don't need kind of a similar villain who's armored up as well.
Isn't the bad guy Susan Sarandon?
It's Carapax, the red armor. And stop spoiling stuff you don't know about.
It's in the literal trailer.
Like, speaking of trailer, one thing that really has me excited about it, though, is we see the Bug, Ted Kord's vehicle, where she pilots around several times, not just one time. That could be a flashback. It's just trying to get me hyped up and excited. It's like, gotcha. But if it's not, and we see Ted Kord's Blue Beetle in that movie, I'm going to just be like, yes, from my couch. But I'm going to be excited to see him.
You're not going to see that in theaters?
I mean, it might not be in the theaters by the time I can see it. So just got to be real.
Be real. Keep it real.
Just got to be real with it. Hey, Joanne, have you seen Barbie yet?
Yeah.
All right. What's your take? Oh man.
It was cute.
Okay, I mean that was a lot of build-up for it was cute. I was waiting for you to go.
He liked it because he had to think about it. It's like, you laughed at that movie, didn't you?
I did. Look, it had its moments. It was funny. It was funny in parts, and it was cute. But I don't know. Would I go see it again? No, it's Kleenex. It's Kleenex. One-time use.
Let me say this: like, if you have a daughter, you have no problem sitting through that movie, do you?
No.
Yeah. Like, and I don't think it's like, oh, you wouldn't want to have the boys go see it, but it's like, it's easy bonding time with your daughters. You're gonna laugh. You're not gonna feel like this is the worst 2 hours you spend in the movie theater. Trust me. So
no, not at all. But Jason, I will say this, huh?
You're not gonna take the crew to see Barbie?
I mean, I would if you guys were down. We could easily go. Well, here's the thing about that. I was just ready to say that, Jeff. There's been a movement among, I don't know, men in tune with their feminine side to go see the Barbie movie together as groups, because there's some, I don't know, it's the whole thing about playing with dolls as a boy and Ken and all that, what he experiences, what masculinity means. So guys have been going to see that movie together to get that, and like, I guess, creating a new version of masculinity through, this kind of therapy.
Devon, all I know about masculinity is from what TV and movies and think pieces have taught me. Masculinity is toxic.
Yeah.
Look,
it's like Britney Spears said.
All I know is what we were taught in the 80s. We're kids of the 80s, and we were being bred to fight the next Cold War. Everybody had an accent, an Eastern European, a Russian accent. All of our toys had guns. All of our action heroes had guns and muscles.
And international friends that they could call on to save the day. Most diverse group of kids back in the day. I mean, Mask, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you name it. I mean, it was a
big Spiral Zone.
Yeah. It was a Benetton with muscles and guns. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
And swords, whips, chains, nunchucks, throwing stars. Shoot, we had a Rambo cartoon out there.
We had a Rambo cartoon.
How do we have a Rambo cartoon? Just
that one I am really. Every year I get a little bit more puzzled by the fact that there's a Rambo cartoon and that they're Rambo toys. And I'm kind of like, I need to go back to my Toy Story, grab these Rambo toys.
Like, toys, it was literally a dude with guns with a shirt off, and like he could bench press 800 pounds. We were all in. But if you tell us, like, did you ever see a Rambo movie? No, we just watched the cartoon. Look,
I just see blood till I was a grown man. I had no idea that this was a movie. I just thought it's Rambo.
Exactly.
It's Rambo. Oh my God.
He's got a helicopter and he's got friends. Honda.
Helicopter, friends. A dog. Did he have a dog?
I mean, how would you not? It was an 80s property.
Yeah. You gotta have, everybody loves dogs.
Yeah, especially a talking dog. Oh.
All right, so Barbie has now crossed an impressive threshold, depending on if you care about box office records or not. It has now defeated Dark Knight to be Warner Brothers' biggest domestic hit of all time. Aquaman still has that high distinction, and I guess the last Harry Potter is number 2 for now. Barbie's coming hot on her heels to get Harry Potter. What do you think about that news? Does it change your life whatsoever. Does this now mean that Barbie's going to be ranked higher than Dark Knight on your all-time movie list?
Oh, oh, look, it made a ton of money. No,
yeah, you know what? To me, it's like what it is cater to the demographic. You'll get your money. That's a lesson Hollywood needs to learn. It's like there was this. I mean, Barbie is unapologetic. Barbie. It's literally you go to the movie. It's Margot Robbie is Barbie, not think piece Barbie. It's literally Barbie. Like it was like it was not. It was like literally like there is a couple jokes that adults will get, but most of them, teen tweens get everything in that movie. It's like, how do y'all not do this for every dang movie?
Apparently, they're just smarter than you, Jace.
No. What's her name? Greta? I do not know her. I don't know her. Is smarter than the idiots they usually have working in Warner Brothers. Because if Warner Brothers, they'd have been like, yeah, we need to not have any songs in it, and all the kids need to be boring. Like, if you don't have the kids being as dumb as the kids were, that movie doesn't work. It's funny because the kids are exactly like they're awesome. Like, come on.
They are. They really is.
All right, so Barbie, the lesson we've learned here is that if you focus on the target demographic that will actually be excited, be there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, maybe even Sunday because they love the movie so much, you're pretty much going to be guaranteed to make a profit.
No way.
And I think that also speaks to it's amazing when you think about that. I mean, I think the Harry Potter movies just kind of stretched their money out over so many films where it's not just one where you're like, wow, that thing did so much money. They kept raking in that money with each installment, even got some spinoffs rolling. But I think what's really interesting is Aquaman in the Nolan trilogy, not true to the comic books to a large extent. If Warner Brothers / DC actually said, well, why don't we just use the comic books? Can you imagine how much money they would make? Like if they had a Superman based off of John Byrne's Man of Steel, where we didn't have him in this dark blue, deep maroon, red, and he wasn't snapping necks, which I thought was fine in the context of that movie, by the way. But what do you think? Is that what's missing?
We don't know anything. We don't work in Hollywood. What do we know?
Hey, nobody works in Hollywood right now, so what do we know?
Chamberlain wanted to know, did anyone ever watch the show Powerless? It's a series as opposed to a movie. You can give individual character spotlights, episodes, and storylines. That sounds like something that would be really good for Max, where they could do like a spotlight Showtime. This is not right. It's a DC series, and I think it's Spotlight, where they can focus on different characters who wouldn't work in the context of a movie, that would work over the course of maybe 3 episodes before they hand the baton off to another character who would also work fine in that context. Maybe Ted Kord, Blue Beetle would be someone that would work in that dynamic. I don't know. I watch an All-Star Squadron TV show where they're just fighting Ratsies all the time and Axis supervillains trying to come to the shores of America. I would watch that all day long. I think there's a ton of DC characters where that kind of show would work. Maybe a Green Lantern like Nort, who is a screw up with his lantern or with his ring and always messed it up. He could probably be really funny for an episode or 2 over the course of like 3 or 4 seasons of that. I think that would work as DC. What would you guys think? Would you watch a show like that with just like taking a wheel and, hey, what characters are going to land on this week for 1 or 2 episodes or 3 or 4?
Okay, like
right, crickets.
Are we talking like main characters like Jimmy Olsen?
I mean, I would ideally I mean, Jimmy Olsen held a book for a while. It's not like he's some sucker. He had a really great comic book that was just recently.
As long as Jimmy Olsen doesn't look like he's bench pressing trucks, I mean, we're fine. I'm just like, I mean, I don't want to be in the room with Jimmy Olsen. He's benching more than me. Like, but if you're talking like powerless superheroes, I think like kind of because I really think one of the things that is actually missing is we don't actually have enough reverence for actually people who want to be heroes without powers. Like, I think we're all become so cynical. It's like we don't look at guys and ladies, who actually just want to be heroes and helping out things. So I think I would like a show like that just to show like, hey, there are people doing stuff that are as good that isn't just the Iron Mans and, the Supermans, but they read like a Steel movie show. It's like, he does not have powers, but he wants to help people. So I would watch it.
You can use it as a springboard for shows. I think Our Man is another character who would work fine. He set it in the 40s where he's developing this technique to help the Allies, and he only has power for an hour. So that lends itself perfect to a series or just a show with a couple random episodes every 8 or 9 episodes in your series, and he just pops a pill and gets power for an hour.
But do we like the idea of people using pharmaceutical enhancement?
We'll call it a supplement. Please consult your doctor before you use Miraclo.
Side effects of Miraclo are...
Please consult your doctor if you experience nausea, headaches, dizziness, fatigue, fever, or near-death symptoms.
Please call your friends and brag about it.
James Green says, I would watch the Steel series. Yeah. That would be great. I mean, the Steel series would be awesome because he doesn't have to be that huge to the budget. Just as long as Shaq is like, sorry, guys, I don't think I can do this now. I think we can work with something.
Okay, like, so we had our Steel in Superman and Lois. Would you watch a show about Steel, John Henry Irons, and Natalie?
Not Natalie. I mean, it's what I said earlier about Captain Marvel or Shazam. Once you have a character, especially a non-powered one, with a sidekick who does the exact same thing, why do I care about the original character? Yeah. The only character that really works with OK is Batman, but simply because his Robins are so much younger than him, and when they get older, they split and do their own thing, like Nightwing / Red Hood. Red Hood got killed, and then he became Red Hood. And then we had Tim Drake, and then he kind of got phased out because they want to introduce his kid, and Tim just did his own thing with Young Justice.
Also, the other thing, like you mentioned, is like even the Robins have their own unique personality. Like Dick Grayson is much more acrobatic. He's not just brawling; he's actually doing stuff like that. Like what's the name? Jason Todd is a much more violent version of Batman, and Tim Drake is much more 2000s computer Robin, and Damian is a borderline. Damian's got his own unique personality, which works very well with Dick Grayson.
He's a redeemed assassin. Powerless is basically a sitcom about people in an office at a Wayne Enterprises subsidiary. They develop products to keep regular humans safe during superhero battles, and that sounds fun. Kind of like a version of Damage Control.
Was that on CW, Jalen? I think because they advertise that every now and then with what is her name? Jimmy Olsen's wife, the one from Supergirl. Like, it was Lucy from Superman.
Channing Tatum's ex.
Yeah, that's what I know I'm messing that up. But yeah, I think that was fun. Yeah, I did not.
That was Vanessa Hudgens. Hey, Danny, it was on looks like it was an NBC show. That can't be right.
That's probably right. It was probably on NBC, and that's why nobody watched it. And then it got
that would explain why I wouldn't have watched it either.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yes. Ron Funches was on it. Alan Tudyk. Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like a good cast. Now I have to just try to track it down and see what's up with it if it was worth watching. And then I could be upset that they canceled another good one.
That you didn't watch at all.
Yes, I think it was CW. But that's why it just was a star. They mentioned all the heroes, but I think Fire Beatrice is the only one that actually appears. They're only around, of course, because that's what they do. Blaze says that would be great. They could tie the Steel into the main universe by having the funeral of Superman in the first 2 minutes, and then boom, right into Johnny's story.
That actually sounds competent. You can't work here. Nope.
Wait. I don't know. I feel like the funeral of Superman sounds like some shade on a CW Batman show.
No, at least that one would actually make sense. It actually has a comic book. Like, hey, he's going to come back versus Batman is gone for no reason other than we're trying to get these young kids over.
Or
Batman over for no reason at all. Sounds great.
I don't want a man taking credit for my work. Oh, right, it was NBC. That's right. That would do it. Yeah, that would absolutely be why I didn't watch Powerless. Now I need to see if it's on Max to make use of that. 80s kids from the 90s in the building. So don't marvel as of right now.
What all right, 80s. What got rid what was your breaking point right there? Did you watch the end of Secret Invasion? What happened?
That just about did it for me. Fortunately, I have phase 1 through 3 to revisit as needed.
Oh, yeah.
J. King, did you watch Secret Invasion?
No.
I mean, you suck because I wanted to hear your take on it.
I did. I watched 10 minutes and I said, yeah, something else.
That was the wrong 10 minutes to watch, man. You should watch the last
finale's 10 minutes and then you would have actually had enough of like, this is trash.
Well, look, I'm going to. You know what happened? As I started to begin to watch, what was Winning Time is back on.
Oh yes, man. You know, speaking of Winning Time,
of the Lakers story, yeah.
I haven't watched this past Sunday, but I always have to remember while I'm watching this show, it's all a lie, Arwen. Like nothing on the show is true. I mean, I can only really kind of trust the basketball because I can check the stats. Like, wait a second, Magic had a broke leg. Then he wasn't playing. That show is just such a fantasy, man. Dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, all the stuff, every scene with Jeannie Buss, I'm like, come on. I can do a real quick Google search. She wasn't even there.
She wasn't even there. No, look, Jeff, I had this. You have to suspend
all the disbelief.
Yeah, all the reality.
You have to act like Bing is the only search engine available.
I was going to say, as G's, you look. You have to suspend reality and just be entertained with this show. I like it because there are so few shows that deal with sports, and it's a fascinating story. The dynasty of the building of this Lakers dynasty under Dr. Jerry Buss. It's fascinating, and the characters themselves become fascinating. Like John C. Reilly is Jerry Buss. He was just a figure that smiled. Like, who? Huh?
That was inspired casting. I would not have thought that. But then I was like,
I would not have thought that, right? Adrian Brody has Pat Riley.
Yeah.
Come on. I wouldn't. Yeah. So
and then he had to sit back here. I was like, he really is Pat Riley.
He's Pat Riley. He was Pat Riley. So, and even the guy that plays Magic does a great job. So, and the guy that plays, I think so.
Yeah.
And the guy who's two first names. Yeah. I think it is Quincy Isaiah. And the guy who's playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's a good series. Yeah, listen, young buck. He's doing a good job with Stoic Kareem. I just want them to do. They have to find a way to incorporate airport into this to show Kareem's like lighter side. You have to do that.
I thought they showed that like in one of the first episodes.
Did they?
I think so.
I gotta go back and see.
There wasn't a lighter side to him. It was like, geez, Kareem just hates the world. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. And I was like, wait, that's not true. He loved it. So it's just, I had to stop. Because I was like, this doesn't seem right. And you know when you had this sense of watching the show, I was like, wait a second. I was like, all right, I can't ever trust anything. I just have to watch it.
Again, do they have like a disclaimer at the end of the show?
They do now.
Oh,
like this season. Yeah, this season they started. It's like, listen, this is a fictionalization. And I'm like, boy, is it.
Yeah, is it? I mean, there are certain things that you can say, "Oh yeah, I remember that happening," but it didn't happen in this sequence or in this order of events. You just got to suspend your knowledge of the reality of what happened and just say, "Hey, I want to be entertained," and it's entertaining. It really is. I do like that show, but it opened up like that door, and I'm going to ask y'all, like, of the fantastic sports stories that are out there, which one do you think would make a great riveting series?
All right, I have another suggestion for you. You didn't ask. I'm gonna come up with an answer while I'm giving you this show. My cousin put me on, which is ironic because I'm the wrestling one up between us. Heels is really good. Watch first season, and
Heels is good.
Yeah, I binged all through the first season, and now I'm caught up to the season that's currently playing, and I'm like, and I'm like, man, I need to work on my southern drawl like Stephen Amell. Speaking of ski raiders in the building, only one rule: when you reminisce about CW, you have to all wear Stephen Amell Green Arrow flashback mullet wigs in unison to get into the spirit.
No. Do we have to use face paint? Do we use face paint or do we actually put on a mask?
No, you just smear some. It's not face paint. You just take a little. Just do that across.
Slap it on across.
Slap it on across. 80s kid from the 90s says Marvel's like a great restaurant that gets new owners and the food isn't as good. Yeah, like it's just like it goes from 10 stars to 1. James Green says, man, Disney Plus is going up the nerve of what they've been putting out. Yeah, I love that. They're going to raise the prices while saying we've been putting out too much stuff. So we're going to lower the content and charge you more for it.
Yeah. And we're also going to take some of that quality content you have.
Remove some of that. Yeah. We're going to remove some of our content too.
Yeah.
Heels is awesome first season. Haven't seen season 2 yet. Ski Raiders on it. Yeah. It's great. I really love it.
Okay.
All right. So we got 80s kids saying the only good stuff on Disney Plus is Star Wars. Nothing else. Everything else is just a library for the older stuff. Which is why it's important to buy your Blu-rays. Afton Child says the only good thing is Moon Knight. And Stickman says Star Wars is basically a dead horse. Who cares about Thrawn's return? What we know by the time the sequels come.
Whoa. Thrawn's coming back. I mean, again, I know I'm gonna watch Ahsoka because of this show, but I really would not watch Ahsoka until the 4th episode because I can actually bring Thrawn back and actually say, instead of having some what was that? Not Rise of Skywalker. What was that daggone New Hope remake?
Force
Awakens. We're gonna have Thrawn in the 5th episode and be like, he throws the daggone, says, who needs a chimera? I don't like starships anyway. Like, that's what I'm more worried about. Like, I don't want to have that. Like, all right, just give me your 30-minute episodes, and then be like, okay, when are we getting to Thrawn? Maybe a returning character, since I know somebody like Blake should still not know who was the returning character. So, yeah, we'll be next.
Blake, yeah, we need to ask you if you got any further on Rebels and Clone Wars, because that's right, we were. Thank you, because I was about to go, whoo. But let's talk about the trailer for Ahsoka with the return of my boy once again, front and center, finally getting all that well-deserved love that was robbed of him back in 2002 through 2005. Hayden Christensen. Everyone knew Anakin Skywalker. You knew what he became. Oh, man. And then watching him and then hearing him do some new narration. Like, dude, I'm going to geek out so hard if they give us a flashback with Anakin and Ashley Eckstein playing Ahsoka. Because she looks like a young enough version, right?
If you could actually do some, like there was some sneak way you actually have a film where it's Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka all in one live action scene, that's the one you tell me, hey, they actually did it, I will make sure I watch that episode. Like, and like I said, like that would be the way to go.
Now, would you be happy if they were to just give us a Clone Wars movie? Like, here it is. It's a random episode that's playing out in movie form.
Okay, so you give me like an actual fun.
We'll let Dave Filoni direct it.
Yeah, Dave's got it directed because is I don't know if anybody saw like the trailer of Ahsoka where it's like, hey, here's who I brought to my show. Guess what? It's Dad, the one who actually made the show. Haha. Like, like that actually having like one really good Clone Wars series and be like, hey, we got one that has Ahsoka, has some Yoda in it. Mace might be a little hard, but like having Grievous.
You don't think after watching Secret Invasion that Samuel L. Jackson wouldn't jump at the chance to do some Clone Wars magic?
That's true. Like no, hey, if my dance card's open, I'm gonna make it happen.
Blake says, I'm about to finish Clone Wars season 1. It's a lot of episodes and a lot of seasons, but I'll get through it. It's like they're following old-timey radio broadcasts and there are many episodes. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Chamberlain says, FYI, Ashley is 41 years old. It's crazy because she's like the most youthful 41-year-old around. And I know she couldn't be super young, but she's such a nice, charming presence where it's like, oh, like she just plays. I don't say plays, but she just, I don't know. She's just a refreshing personality, and definitely somebody I would love to see just get a little moment in time playing Ahsoka, either in a Clone Wars movie, live action one, please, directed by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, just for kicks. Maybe we have him play Pre Vizsla.
You know, honestly, I'm just hoping you know how like they did for Uncharted, where they actually have Ashley in the show somehow. I don't care how she's in it, just like, and we just hear Ahsoka like, wait, Ahsoka talking to Ahsoka? What?
Maybe she could be like, maybe she could watch a recording of her, like from back in the days, where she's talking with Anakin. I want to see that. Yeah. Ski Raider says, with Filoni doing it, I think it will work. Favreau would help too. I think it'll be good with Ezra and Thrawn returning. So it'll be really cool to see. We don't know about Ezra yet, but I mean, because we saw a hologram, so we don't know what all we're going to see. And speaking of, I should do a check now on this ghost. That I'll say that for tomorrow on Figure Files. But yeah, man, I'm so ready for it. 80s Kid says, yes, I'm super excited. I'm almost finished rewatching season 3. Give us more live action prequel era stuff. It's so ironic. I mean, the prequels finally getting love. I don't think I'm going to be old enough or live long enough to see people going, yes, sequel trilogy love, baby. It's so awesome.
Jen, that's one of the, like, at that point, society will have actually broken down because logic won't mean anything if you actually, you know what? I think the sequel trilogy was really underrated. Yeah.
I missed the quality lyrics of one Cardi B. And Sweetie.
No, I'll say, I'll send you more videos from Sexy Red.
Please don't. Awful on every level.
Ooh, that was horrible.
Fine. All right. Peter Dinklage is starring in a new Toxic Avenger movie. Javon, how excited are you about this? I know the emotions, the feelings are high.
I'm overcome with emotion. I would be as excited to see this as I would to actually see if Sexy Red's booty hole is actually brown. I would have zero interest in either. None. Zero.
I mean, but it's the Toxic Avenger.
Okay. Yeah. Well, wasn't Toxic Avenger one of those movies you saw in USA Up All Night?
Yeah, dude.
I feel like it.
It's not like I'm going to be like, I can't wait. You know, of all the things I want is a Toxic Avenger movie. If you know what I do want to see, there was some movies like in the early mid 80s, like the B-level horror movies like The Stuff, Chopping Mall. I would love to see those.
Amazon. If you want to see B-level, horror movies, check out Amazon. Amazon's got a bevy of them.
You know,
there you go, J. King. Toxic Avenger.
No, he's got the mop. No, I'm good.
It's a green radioactive mop, man. You need to get with it.
No, we can't modernize Toxic Avenger.
You can't modernize it.
Yeah, don't give me a modernized Freddy, and don't give me modernized Toxic Avenger.
Raider is looking forward to it. Toxic Avenger with the "Hey, you guys" from Goonies will be classic. USA Up All Night after or around Dynamite Effects. Hey, listen, I'm watching Up All Night happily.
I miss
classic, exactly.
Yes, it was. Bunch of bikini clad women were crowded around the IROC Z28 while bad movies play on in the back. Come on, man.
Oh man, I can't wait for the think pieces to talk about how the Toxic Avenger
is toxic.
It's misogynistic.
This is low hanging
They're going to do all these discussions like, yeah, what we really wanted to do was think of how we could make the Toxic Avenger less toxic. We thought about the chemicals that help create them and thought that just was not very,
It's
we
going
need
to
to
be
be more
all a bunch of
We wanted to
masculine
bring the story
clones.
into modern times and have it to be inclusive.
We needed Clorox and bleach in there. Harvey Korman forever be movie tastic. It was awesome.
Yes. Yes.
So too is anything on USA Up All Night. You have to do all night.
Mm-hmm.
What is the green staff, Javon?
It's toxic male energy, Jeff.
Oh god.
In mop form.
In mop form. We're cleaning up that toxic male energy.
I mean, it's like there's certain movies you're like, guys, you can't do this. It's on these like these are certain 80s movies. It's like, hey, it was bad in the 80s, but like
you're not gonna make it.
Make 2023 Porky's, damn it. Do it. Go. Where do you do?
My
Where
gosh.
do you go?
Afton Child, that's the Toxic Avenger, what he looks like without the silhouette and all that good stuff. So this is toxic mop hanging with chemicals that in this one we're going to actually see the full radioactiveness of it. Chamberlain wants to know, wait, Peter Dinklage is Toxie a little person in this remake? Maybe he's going to be shrunk down by the chemicals that make him toxic. Maybe he's going to be a classic misogynistic dude, and then the toxins are going to reduce him to the size he really is. There you go. I've got the think pieces all ready for this one.
Oh my gosh, I'm really worried.
The Toxic Crusaders. Does anybody remember that?
Of course.
Oh no.
Remember, Afton Child remembers. This is a missed opportunity because Bushwick Bill would have had his back. I think your mind's playing tricks on you. Sorry, I'm not sorry. It's interesting what Batman said in BVS. He said something about a new time for superheroes. Interesting how in 2 to 3 years that'll be true with Superman Legacy. We will see about that. You said Toxic Crusaders, Javon?
I got 4.
Yeah, you remember that cartoon?
Cartoon. Yes. Gosh.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I was like, wait, that can't be right, but you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they were putting out whatever would not get canceled quickly.
I mean, just kids and
stuff. While we can.
Yeah.
Toxic Crusaders.
Wow.
Yeah, video games, everything.
Wow. Blake says, sorry, can't use little people. It's too triggering to big progressive people, even though big progressive people are exclusive.
When we say big, now, Blake, we're treading a line here when we say big. Are you talking about Rubenesque people or people of normal height? Because the Rubenesque can't be changed. We're brave.
Brave.
If we put scallops and cake on the same plate at the buffet.
Or they're harassing their dancers. All right.
Stop it.
After Child wants to know what is the Toxic Crusaders. Speaking of toxicity, what is the Toxic Crusaders, Javon?
What is the Toxic Crusade? It was Toxie spun into a Saturday morning cartoon with baddies and sidekicks alike. It was terrible. It was the 80s. It was just, we're throwing spaghetti against the wall. What do you got? Toxie, you got Inhumanoids, Bionic. What was it? The Bionic.
Wait. Humanoids was good. Wait a second. You throwing any Humanoids in this?
Look, in
Bionic 6.
You couldn't do that today.
Bionic 6.
20 years ago. You couldn't make it Humanoids.
Ask Michael or her. You could so do the Bionic 6 right now.
Well, the Bionic 6 is Danger Zone now. I think that's the name of the show where all the kids and family have superpowers, whatever. I don't know, stupid.
But do they have a big monkey?
They don't. They don't. There's no big monkey.
Or is it orangutan? Or an orangutan?
Like a bionic gorilla or something like that.
Yeah, man, it was great. Love that show.
That guy's cool too. All that stuff, man.
And it's Spiral Zone, of course.
Yeah, man.
All right. So Stranger Things is eventually going to end at some point. The cast seems like they can't wait for it to be over. Millie Bobby Brown said she's ready for Stranger Things to end so she can go on and do other things. David Harbour said, I'm not doing TV. I just want to go on the movies. I don't want to be typecast as Hopper. I don't feel like he's been typecast as Hopper. I feel like he's done a really good job of doing a ton of other things. So I don't necessarily think of him as Hopper when I see him. I think of him from the first what is the Denzel?
He's done Hellboy. He's done he's in Gran Turismo. He did a Netflix movie with Anthony Mackie. Like
he's murdering Santa Claus, for God's sake.
Yeah, I think they are kind of like tired of being stuck in those contracts more than they are actually tired of that format. They're like, because it's like somebody, I mean, like Millie is making money, gonna make money. Dave Harbour's gonna be making money. All the rest of them,
what's Millie gonna make money doing?
Well, she's Sherlock's sister,
Enola Holmes.
Yeah, like
on Netflix. How you gonna get that money on Netflix?
She's gonna. I mean, she's a star of the show. Like she's gonna make money, but the rest of them.
Jalen says everyone seems to call his Hellboy the one with Hopper.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but
you are, man. You can't outrun it.
But I mean, I think it's like if it was a network show, you would love it because you know you're getting residuals. Like if you're getting old school residuals, like the people on Friends, the reason they came back to do a reunion was because they still like my residual checks are well, because even if you try and send that money to Netflix, I just got that on TBS and TNT every day. Like I'm still eating well on those things. But like when you're on Netflix, it's like, I can't do that.
Raider brings up an interesting point. She can play Leia too. Throw her into Heir to the Empire.
Okay.
Raider speaks facts. Millie needs to play young Princess Leia. And 80 says they were on a break. Exactly.
If Friends is on TNT, I watch it. So
I don't. I can't stand with the commercials. And they're so poorly timed, even though it was a TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could really see her playing Princess Leia. I'm sorry, is she still a princess? I get confused.
Jeff, shut up! Like, just stop it. Just how much? No. To me, she's always been a princess. Like, what the? Gosh. Like, but no, like. I think the rest, when it comes to the rest of the Stranger
Great episode.
It's funny, you can just say certain words in that show.
Yes, it got it.
And like everybody who's watched the show gets it. But when it comes to
lobster.
But like Stranger Things, the rest of them are like, I don't know where our money's coming from. Once this show's over, like most of the other actors are gonna be like, Renata Wider is still going to be making money, like Hopper and Millie. The rest of them are going to be like, so, who are you? I used to be on Stranger Things. That's cool.
That's great. Listen, Ski Raiders casting me some new Star Wars movies that we need post Return of the Jedi that I can be on board with. With Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan as Luke if need be. The Hamill de-aging is too much by itself. I love Hamill doing it. Just looking at budget. Full Heirs to the Empire. Yes.
Again, I still think hopefully the Ahsoka, if not, they don't finish the whole Heir to the Empire. If you could do something after it, I think everybody would be happy.
I have a question. It feels like they don't have to make Ahsoka Heir to the Empire.
No, I think what you can do is you can do this because a lot of this stuff, there's stuff that goes on before Heir to the Empire that we don't know about. So you could do a lot of things, have some characters, and then shift into like Dave Filoni's movie is actually Heir to the Empire.
So no one at Lucasfilm knows anything about Heir to the Empire.
And the fact that he's been able to skate so much of Heir to the Empire for the last 10 years and they didn't figure it out. Like, who's that blue alien guy? Don't worry, I made him up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just thinking what time it'd be kind of cool to have a blue alien, and I just came up with this design for him, and yeah, that's what I came up with.
Good. Well, you don't see too much of that. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Tips hat a little lower to hide the smirk. You fools!
They bought it.
All right. Last news item, and I just thought was really interesting. Aaron Taylor Johnson talks about his past blockbuster experience in this interview with Esquire. And he said, he had lead roles in films like Godzilla, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and even Kick-Ass. And he had all these things lined up for him. I didn't really care for them. I wanted purely to be with my babies. I would say I was probably not ready to be in that position anyway. It was too early. But yeah, I also slightly didn't give a F. So I'm real curious. If you were in, you were a star Kick-Ass. And Kick-Ass, the first one was really good. Second one was terrible, awful. Everything that was good about the first one was just done poorly in the sequel. Godzilla, they do have a really great skydiving scene, but if you're in Avengers, and I'd be upset at Josh Whedon too. I'm the fast guy. I'd get killed by bullets. And then Josh is like, well, I couldn't have you fall on Wonder Woman. I couldn't have you fall on your sister awkwardly, or could I? Why would you be like, oh, you're ready for blockbusters now that I can be in Craven?
Okay. Is he saying now after growing up, now he's got, because again, he was living off Hollywood money. I don't see how you get to Hollywood, then decide, yeah, I got enough Hollywood money. I'm good. Especially, because Hollywood has eaten up a whole lot of people and they never come back again. It's like you were somebody and then they see you in the grocery store and be like, didn't you used to be that guy? Like I don't think that would really work for most people. It's like, hey, I'm making money. Then it's 20 years later, hey, I'm doing pics with Brad Pitt now and hoping that comes back. There's gonna be waiters in your Starbucks to be like, I was actually starring with you in Age of Ultron. Great move. Oh, thanks, guy. Good luck. I don't think you're gonna. I wouldn't give that up.
Could I have a little bit more chai in this coffee?
Sure. Yeah, you can get some more cream in your coffee. Yeah, no.
Nobody appreciates my cream.
But then when they cast Craven, they said you don't need to have an accent, just work out, and everything will work out. And you're also going to be part of the Sony Marvel universe.
Yeah, dude.
So don't worry about. There's going to be no confusion about you and Quicksilver. It'll be you as Craven, and if you look at the box office receipts, you could be a producer of this movie and still not make any money. Margot Robbie's going to make $50 million as a producer of Barbie, but you're not going to see a dime on this movie. So good luck.
You ready to say actors need to sign up for roles and love them. Jay's facts. Appreciate the fire role they've gotten. Exactly. I always loved the fact that they trashed the stuff they're in years later. Oh gosh, I couldn't stand being in this movie. Like, well, cool for you. I'm not seeing Craven.
You could do the Doja Cat like, hey suckers, good job on buying my albums. It was a cash grab. And then, oh yeah, buy my next album. Nah.
This recasting is very craziness that Deadpool will be clowning. You look so familiar. Give us a movie or Spencer. This I can win. All right, well, fellas, it's that time. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? I do have them written down. Let's see. Jace, It looks like you were called up first. But hold on, Jalen says we're lucky. Kramer will fall victim to the strike and never come out. You know, we're never, ever going to be that lucky, Jalen.
No,
it's coming out whether we want it or not. The only question is what kind of memes are we going to have for Craven? I'm craving some excitement. I'm craving a better movie.
I mean, like, what was it? Like, what was it? What was it? Morbius literally got released. They didn't understand it was so bad. They took it out. Then there was memes, and they're like, "Oh, this we didn't understand. Everybody loves it." It's like, no, it's
they're like, people embrace the movie. No, dude, they embrace clowning your movie. It's a huge difference. Huge difference. All right, bro. The floor is yours.
Okay.
The spotlight is all you. Who's your nominee for Dummy of the Week?
Okay, so I'm gonna say my Dummy of the Week is. I know this is totally out of left field, but I've been watching, ESPN way too much. But all of the folks is like, hey, we need to get rid of Trey Lance because he sucks. It's like, guys, he literally hasn't got on the field in 2 years. Get rid of him now. He's horrible. It's like, do you know how much they gave up for the dude? You're not going to give up on a guy in year one, really, of his contract. Like, he sucks. Get rid of him now. Cut bait. It's like, it's almost like I know you talk about the radio station of your beloved franchise, but man, they must be having a field day with get rid of Trey. He's horrible.
Have you heard me mention how much I listen to the radio? Because I haven't. I literally nope. I mean, because if you watch the game, he's got that fast to throw. I'm like, I'm listening to Michael Robinson, who is a super hater. He's mad because we dropped him and sent him over to Seattle. But he's like, Trey Lance is such a disappointment. I'm like, did you see his offensive line? They were dominoes going the wrong way, coming in his face. I'm like, come on, dude. That doesn't work as a quarterback. You need 2 Mississippi. They were like cheating. They were going at 1 Mississippi. So he had no time. And I'm like, how do you gauge a quarterback if he has no time? Oh man, Tom Brady doesn't like pressure.
He has a garbage O-line, but he found a way to go 10 for 15 with 112 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, get rid of him.
Yeah, that stat line, they just like ignore him. Like, but Sam Darnold, he was magical. It's like, I'm sorry,
Sam Darnold managed to chew gum and walk on the field without breaking his ankle. Let's get him a starter. No, get rid of Trey Lance, please. You will find out in a hurry.
We're not in a hurry, but I'm not Team Donald. All I am is Team 6. Whatever quarterback, even if it's a Jacoby Brissett, after he realizes Washington is nothing. Whoever gets us that 6th ring is my 3rd favorite Niners quarterback of all time.
That's right. That's right.
That's how you do it.
Exactly. Acton Child did want to know, and I forgot to mention this, is the strike almost done? Well, apparently, this is just rumor, whatever. There's still talks now. Netflix and Disney are like, hey, let's sit down and talk. And let's try to work out something so we can keep all of our millions of dollars without really paying you much. So they've offered writers new assurances about pay, viewership date, and the role of artificial intelligence. So they're trying to talk, but I don't know if they're actually going to do much. This is just with the writers, not with the actors. So there's still another hurdle to get over. But I'm finding it really interesting because Netflix is still not saying, hey, this show got so many views, etc. It's just like, oh, this show did well. It got a lot of views. We don't know about the number 10 most watched show this week. They never say anything. I always feel that's really lame and not so bright, meaning super shady. But what do you guys think? Is the strike almost over?
They're talking. I mean, when they like the fact that like some of the studio heads are like, yeah, we actually do need this strike to be over. Like that's when the people who have money are actually upset. That's when you start getting movement. And I think now it's getting a little close to that fall TV movie schedule, which is exactly what I said. Like the summer they were going to ride out because it was just reality shows that they were going to just do whatever. But now it's getting close to when they have to start filming the stuff that actually makes them a little bit of money. Now they start caring. So I think probably September. It'll probably be over.
I feel like these writers should,
because they're holding on by a thread, especially for network. They're holding on by a thread. There's some of the biggest commodities, like what is it? Any of the NCIS franchises, any of the CBS franchises. What is it?
CSI.
No, what's the
Law and Order? My front office.
What's the young lady? What the big Abbott Elementary? They haven't even begun filming. That's like the biggest sitcom on TV.
But you know what's scary for them? If they have friends who know how to use an iPhone with the quality tripod setup, they could do that stuff on YouTube and be like, "We're good."
That's not the middleman.
Yeah,
and because they're not on contract, you could very much say, "Hey, we are doing the exact same show. I am writing for myself sketch comedy, making YouTube views."
You just call it Jenkins Elementary or Jenkins Middle.
Yeah.
I mean, and you couldn't sue them like, "Hey, that's the intellectual property." Do you? Because your contract disagrees.
Sorry. Says, it's like I get to pick my favorite to wife up. Wait, hold up. She's about to love me. Strike! Like Martin Lawrence house party. Switch! Pay them to stop this nonsense. Also, clean up the content. More content, less agenda. But if we don't have agenda, how will we know how everyone feels about everything?
Yeah.
I mean,
are you not entertained?
Again, if you can say, if we can disable YouTube think pieces on our content, we'll make that trade. Like, I think most of us will.
Fran Drescher ain't playing Pay the Nanny. That was a pretty bad Fran Drescher. I tried.
Nobody can do Fran Drescher.
I just could not get the right pitch nasally. I'm not stopped up enough. I have real life allergies. 80s Kid had the nominee for Dummy of the Week. Number 2 is the director of the Marvels, saying the movie is wacky and silly, fighting that superhero fatigue, no doubt, because this one's not going to be somber and serious. It's going to be wacky and silly. Absolutely what fans of the MCU want to hear about their movies.
I read that and I was like, it was thankfully like the headline, so I didn't have to keep reading because I'm like, I'm not clicking on this to get disappointed in this movie. I want to see it, but it's like, it looks fun, but wacky and silly, and then the random executioner literally gives me Love and Thunder vibes. Scared.
It's not a good vibe for you. All right, my nominee is just like a savage butchering. So apologies to anyone who actually knows how to pronounce this guy's name. But excuse me. One of the producers of The Witcher, Tomek Baginski. I'll say it like I know it, like a YouTuber. And he was asked how he felt about Henry Cavill stepping away from the fantasy adventure series after the 3rd season. He didn't talk about Cavill leaving, but he did say Henry was a fantastic role, but in the history of pop culture, we have many actors who play the same character, and the character itself changed. I am most pleased that the series was created and became so popular. The Witcher has already reached the level of Batman, Superman, and James Bond.
What? A number of actors they've had? Where do you go? Like, what?
The level of popularity. Gerald is right there with Batman, Superman, and James Bond. No worries.
You're right.
All right. Okay. If we were to ask our wives about The Witcher, they'd be like, what? What are you talking about? What? You know, The Witcher, the show that you scroll past every time you see on Netflix? Like,
no. Then depending on where you married your wife, you mean The Watcher, the Drake song? No, The Witcher. Oh.
Whew. Man, dude. Hey, you know, it's fun to live in your own universe every now and then. Like,
You're right. You're
right, though.
Hey,
it's
Darth Vader.
Who's your nominee?
Okay, all right.
Okay,
I got 2 Jeff ones. I got 2 for y'all. One is Marcus Jordan, the son of NBA legend Michael Jordan. She for the streets. For the streets. Don't marry your father's teammates Wife, ex-wife, don't do it. Stop it. Anyway, that was one. She for
I
the
mean, if
streets.
she gives Jordan and Pippen money, you gotta call her the
She
GOAT,
getting
the real
Jordan that
GOAT.
much. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. That right there is it. She got Jordan and Pippen.
That's
She
the
go
GOAT of
hard.
housewives.
She go hard. She go
She
hard.
goes hard in the
Okay.
paint.
So that's right. So there's Marcus, and then there's Adult Swim, Cartoon Network. You can't have Rick and Morty without Justin Roiland, so don't try. Look, you knee jerk reacted to what happened. You fired him. Um, listen, thank you, Curator. Thank you. I mean, look, Rick and Morty's voices and all the auxiliary voices that you find hilarious are done by Justin Roiland. Nobody's gonna be the show the way he was. He's the show. You can't bring in other people who sound like Morty or sound like Rick. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. Either you bring him back and make him happy however you can, throw him, dump the truck of money at him and say we apologize. What can we do to make this right? Or you just say, you know what, we have to move on from Rick and Morty. And for what it's worth, Adult Swim's kind of done anyway. They haven't had a decent produced property on their own since Rick and Morty.
Hey, John, all they have to do is say they're using the AI voice to do all the voices of Rick and Morty, but it's actually, oh boy. So you can see which would upset them more. The fact that it's an AI voice or it's actually the guy.
Think about it. Like, when you hear the Muppets now, it's like,
for real. I was thinking that when you mentioned it. And there's a totally different reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it.
You're really trying, but you're not quite Kermit.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, well, fellas, thank you as always for another exciting show. Maybe next week we can talk about the end of the strike. I can talk about how excited and hyped up I was watching Ahsoka. First episode comes on next Wednesday. So, Jace, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to watch it before our episode.
It's first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Thundercast Roar got them to take out the thumbs down count off of YouTube single-handed. So, fellas, thank you as always. Thank you all out there in the chat for hanging out with a Skew Raider, 80s kid from the 90s, Jamelin Parks, Afton Child, Blake, Stickman, James Green, everybody. But let me do one more check just to make sure I did. Thank you all so much as always for tuning in. Fellas, thank you as always for rocking with me. This episode of Oz Movie Files has been filed.